Hey guys and girls, Alex here again from IELTS How To. In this video in particular, I'm going to show you what a Band 8 essay looks like. So as you know, at IELTS How To, we provide you tutorials and tips and tricks on how to actually pass your IELTS exam. Now, the hardest section of the IELTS test for almost everybody is usually the writing section, and in particular, task number 2, which is writing your essay. So in one of the previous videos, which you can find on this channel, you can see my score, and from that particular exam, I scored 8 specifically in the writing section. So today I'm going to show you what is the exact essay question that I got in my exam and what is my actual answer. So this way you can understand why it's a Band 8 essay and how you can imitate the style or the format or some of the languages. What are the specific things I incorporated within my essay to get a higher band score? So let's get started. So because I was going into the exam and I was planning to actually make this video and show my result and all the strategies I used to get such a high score, the moment I left my exam room, I opened my phone and I started typing every single question that I could recall. But not only did I type every single question, in my notes, I also typed as much as I could of the essay. So what you guys are about to see shortly is 60 to 70% identical word for word essay as I wrote in the exam, with my mistakes, with my notes, and any examples that I used. And if you can see here on my screen, so you can see the notes from the speaking section and the topics that I got, the questions that the examiner was asking me for part 1, 2, and 3. And this is the essay I had as well. So some of the mistakes, for example, that I spotted in the last couple of minutes is I didn't have a full stop in the first paragraph. I misspelled the word organization. So I was using an inconsistent spelling. I was using the British spelling with an S in some parts and with a Z in other parts. And I was able to fix that in the last minute of my essay. And this is the actual question. And you can see these are my notes that I remember that I wrote literally word for word as soon as I left the exam room. So from memory, I filled out the parts that are missing, which you're about to see on the screen. Now, in the previous video, I was mentioning that I made some major mistakes in writing, which is why I only got Band 8 instead of maybe 8.5 or 9, which I think I could have gotten. So what are those mistakes? The first mistake is I did not manage my time in a proper way. So as you know, you are recommended to spend 20 minutes on task 1 and 40 minutes on task 2. Because task 1 is worth 1/3 of your marks and task 2 is worth 2/3 of your marks. So obviously you should spend your time accordingly. Now what happened is I spent 25 minutes instead of 20 minutes for my letter or for my, I did the academic, so it wasn't the letter, it was describing the image. And I only had 35 minutes to do my essay. So because of that, I had a few blunders, like a few spelling mistakes, which I was not able to correct in time. So have a look here. This is the exact essay question that I got in the exam, and this is my answer. So, people's only reason for working hard is just to get paid. Discuss. Provide examples from your own experience or knowledge. So, this is a discussion essay, and what you can see here, the parts which are highlighted in blue, those are the parts that I could not exactly remember after the exam, so I filled it out just now, but it's very similar to the language I used in the real test. Now, the text that you see here, which is not highlighted, this is exactly, literally, word for word what I wrote in the exam. And you can see my notes. This is what it looks like. So obviously, I just filled in the gaps with whatever was missing. Now, one major mistake that I only realized now whenever I was looking through my notes is I had a major spelling mistake. And one of the words in particular, which I'm trying to find over here, is the word, there it is the word remuneration. So as you know, in IELTS, you get a higher score for using uncommon vocabulary, for using collocations and using different kinds of language related to the topic, but that's not widely used in your day-to-day communication. So I wanted to use a fancy term, which I knew the meaning, which is financial remuneration. But in the exam, what happened? Because I ran out of time and I wasn't able to check it as thoroughly as I wanted to, instead of remuneration, I wrote remuneration with an N instead of an M. So I'm sure that cost me some marks as well, because obviously every time you get a spelling mistake or grammar mistake or punctuation mistake, you will get a deduction. Likewise, what I noticed whenever I was checking my essay in the exam, I didn't put a full stop in one of my paragraphs, which I was able to manage to do in the last couple of seconds. And I also wasn't consistent with my spelling in some of the places, which I was able to fix. But this is overall a Band 8 essay. And what you'll see in the description of this video, I will put a link to our website, which is www.ieltshowto.com. And in our blog section, you can actually download this essay and study it and copy a similar structure in your test. I want to highlight a few things, a few reasons why maybe I got a high score or why I didn't get a higher score, and some of the mistakes. So the first thing is, when you look through this essay, you will notice it's well structured. So it's got 4 paragraphs, and I'm presenting one distinct idea per paragraph, which is very important in order to get a high coherence and cohesion score, which is basically how well is your essay structured and organized. Now, second thing you'll notice, in order to get high marks in task achievement, you have to cover the question entirely. You have to cover every aspect of that question. So when you read this essay on our blog, you can see I answered the question fully. In terms of the vocabulary, I try to use a range of words. So in the question, they say words like getting paid, or the only reason for working hard is to get paid. I try to use words like career, like financial reward, like financial remuneration. There's a few other collocations I used, and let me try to find it really quickly. In particular here, you can see in one of my paragraphs, I said that people work hard not just to get paid, but also to hone their skills. So hone your skill, it's a collocation. It means to like sharpen your skill, to get really, really good at something. So again, this is the kind of vocabulary that IELTS examiners are trained to look for. And had I not had some of those things, I could have easily missed by half a band and gotten 7.5. I want to point your attention to a few other grammatical structures that I'm using in my paragraph. So for example, this sentence over here, okay? This is necessary in order to not only apply and test their theoretical knowledge, but also to prepare them with practical experience upon graduation. So what I'm doing in this situation is I'm writing a complex sentence just to show off some of my grammatical knowledge. And the last thing that also helps with coherence and cohesion is the inclusion of linking words and connectors and so on. So you can see here in my first body paragraph, I used a connector firstly, and then here I said another idea to support this notion. I use linking words like furthermore. In my conclusion, I use words like therefore or thus or hence. In conclusion over here in my last paragraph. So it's very crisp, it's structured in a proper way. And any questions you have in regards to this, just leave a comment and I'm happy to answer it. And I'm planning to hopefully provide you guys more value by using different kinds of structures and formats in the exam and doing the same thing, writing it from memory after the test and showing it to you guys so you can see the difference. Because we've all been in those WhatsApp groups and Facebook groups where candidates for IELTS are practicing together and they're exchanging their notes and they ask each other to help correct their essays. But what you need to realize, if you're aiming for Band 7 and you're getting your essay checked by somebody else who barely got Band 7, do you really think that person knows what they're doing? Are you really sure they have that knowledge? You might get some small tips and pointers here and there, but it's not really enough. It's like the blind leading the blind. So the reason I wanted to show you guys, again, you can see my score, you can see my essay, and you can even see the date of this note somewhere. So it was last edited April 16th, which is, I think, literally the day or the day after my exam. So you can see this is legit, and this is actually what worked for me. It might not work for you. Maybe it will, maybe it won't, but I'm sure it will find a lot of helpful information. So again, just to summarize, this is what the Band 8 essay looks like. And I will leave in the comments the link where you can actually download it from our blog. If you have any questions, comment it below, and it'd make us a huge, huge favor if you could like this video and also subscribe. This way myself and our team and our IELTS examiners could prepare more materials to share with you guys. This is Alex, and I will see you in the next video. All the best in your exam. Take care.